So one of the things that let me just put it the text box in here. One of the things that InDesign has is dynamic spelling, and I think I told you guys, and I don't know if it was this class or the other class, where I I've done some pretty big mistakes. Um, obviously it happens. We're human, but it's still pretty embarrassing. Did I tell you guys about the spot that I did for Lowe's Home Improvement in Spanish? That one, so I was like, so InDesign now has this, let me type this called dynamic spelling. Let me make a typo. Okay, so let me I have some typos in here, that's on purpose. Okay, so if you, excuse me, yes. So if you go up to edit and then come up here to spelling and turn on dynamic spelling. So what it does is kind of cool because sometimes we become acclimated on see our eyes just get used to it and sometimes we don't see the typos. So what dynamic spelling does, it's pretty cool because it can underline the words that need to be fixed. So you can literally come in here and select those words and fix the typo. But as an example, this you're gonna have to pay a little bit more attention to it, right? Because this if you notice it didn't pick it up. So obviously just make sure you try to read or have somebody else read the work. But the dynamic spelling, it's pretty cool, especially if you have like a brochure or or something with multiple with a book or anything like that or a manual. It's a really good idea to turn on the dynamic spelling. So I do like that quite a bit. Now the other thing that I wanted to show you that's kind of cool. So you can create shapes in InDesign. I think everybody knows that, and you can import shapes from Illustrator. But if you take on the shape tool, like this rectangle tool, and I'm click and dragging it with the mouse, and as I'm click and dragging it, I'm taking my other hand and going over to the arrow keys, and I am adding, but I have to keep dragging with the mouse. So what it does, you can go in here and create multiple shapes, and then you can move each one individually. Isn't that cool? It does take some coordination to do because I'll show you also with the ovals. So if you come over here and select the ellipse tool, and as I'm dragging, I'm clicking the arrow tools, and I'm the up and down tools also. And then you can hold your shift key, but I'm still dragging, so you can get those perfect circles, and then you can come in and color that. I love that. And then you literally can come in and move them around however you want to. So this takes a little bit of practice. Even for me, it took me a little while because I kept getting into like rectangles or ovals. So if you want to keep the perfect square or the perfect circle, after you put in your multiple lines, then hold your shift key, and then you'll get those perfect circles. But I love this. I love this little tip. Also, let's see here. Shoot, let me see if I can open Illustrator. This computer doesn't like to open two things at once. We'll come back to that as it's before it opens. Okay, the other that I wanted to show you was, so if you've taken Illustrator, so we talked about how InDesign is for page layout, Adobe Illustrator is for vector graphics, and then Adobe Photoshop is for image manipulation, right? I think we're all kind of clear on that. Yes, no, maybe? Okay, so vector graphics, we talked about how you can get a little tiny vector graphic and you can enlarge it and it's not going to matter. The resolution will never change, right? You don't have to worry about resolution at all. It is a vector graphic, right? You have the ability in InDesign to copy paste, and I'll see if I have a vector graphic here ready to go. So let me see here. Everything takes forever. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and open this all assignment here. And I will show you. Okay. So let me go ahead and take just this and I'll create it into outlines. Okay. So you can, you're in Illustrator, you literally copy and then you paste it onto InDesign. And look what it is. It's still a vector graphic and you can come individually and change each one of those. So let's say that you have a logo, okay, and you copy paste it from Illustrator and it's still, look, it's a vector graphic. You know, if it's together like this, you can control click and select ungroup so they're not all tied together, or you can go to object, also group or ungroup up here. But the cool thing about this is that, let's say that you have bring a logo that is black and you want to use it white. You don't have to go save another one in Illustrator as a white logo. You can literally copy it from Illustrator, paste it on InDesign, and then make it white in InDesign. And it saves within the document. I like to keep separate things, you know, like when I create my folders, like I'll create a black logo, well, the black logo, white logo, whatever the color is of the brand that I'm working with. But if they just provide me a black logo, I mean, this is a really quick way to do it in case you wanted to skip that. Again, you're not saving that individual file like that, but you can make the changes here quick. So that's a pretty cool thing to be able to do that. And then the other thing I wanted to show you, one last thing. So, you know, let's say that you create a circle here and you make it pink, and then you want to go ahead and, okay, let's give it a stroke. Let's see. Okay, and then you can come in here and add the effects. Let's say that you're doing some kind of gradient. Why would you ever? It's very rare to use gradients. I don't recommend them all the time. I know everything has to have a purpose, remember? But they don't transfer well, so they really have to make sense. Some people love gradients. Just because you like it doesn't make it okay. Just remember that. It's kind of like using Comic Sans. Never use Comic Sans. Never use Papyrus, ever. right? So you can come in here and, and just kind of fix this up. Let's say that you're doing buttons or whatever, let's say that you're doing something like this. And you can, let's say that you're doing a square here. And you can actually take the droplet and click on here, and it will copy the same attributes. Instead of, and if you notice, it is the exact same gradient, right? So you don't have to reapply it at every single time. Like even if you come in here and you create a triangle, right? Again, you can come in here with the eyedropper. Boop. So no matter what, all of the gradient, the fill's the same, the gradient's the same, everything's the same, and that's all you have to do. Or you don't have to recreate each one of those to make things happen. And then the other tool that I wanted to show you was so let's see, let me do a couple of these. And then, actually, I'm just gonna take this one. So let's say that you have, you wanna align these, and there's a couple of ways. If you have the smart guys on, you see that? You see how that kind of forces me to align them? That helps, but let's say that you have multiple of these. Okay, so you go to Object and see, I lose tools also. But that's so easy, don't panic. Oops. Oops, stop it. The mouse is, hello? There it is, Object Layout, Align. Object Layout, Align, and you get this little cool tool right here. Okay, and this is the alignment tool. And you can see, like, if you select all of these, you say Aligned Objects. You see that? Pretty neat. Or if...
I think I've used it before.
Huh?
I think I've used that before.
Yeah, it's a pretty handy tool. So this is like flush left, center. This is flush right. Let's say that you're doing this all up because line them up. So you can see this is like the spacing. You want to make it more obvious. See what it did? It created the exact same spacing in between. And then this works the same way. It's a pretty handy tool, especially if you're working with multiple objects. Any questions on this? Okay, so then I'm going to give you the rest of the class to work on your lessons. I'm going to be grading that assignment, the magazine assignment. Cool beans? Okay, okay. I will upload.